Yeah? Okay, yeah. Testing 1, 2. Testing 1, 2. So again, just experience a little difficulty again, right? Again, so as we left off where we have been bringing this reminder again to our brothers and sisters here in Trinidad and Tobago, and as these reminders continue to come out, we always remind our brothers and sisters that again to like, share, and subscribe to the classes and them. Because again, the I.S.U.P.K under Commanding General Yohanna again is on every platform of as we say, the social media, and you name it, and to bring this truth out, to bring this reminder out. And as we continue to be a brother to our brothers, as again these 12 tribes or the nation of Israel was again brothers that came from a lineage or came from a father that had sons. And when you go back again through the history, and this is why it's so important again that these records again as you say, the Bible or record history book, right? That this book holds again the key, as made mention, in life and death. These records, this is what it holds. It holds your life as a Black, Latino, or Native Indian. And we always use the term Black, Latino, or Native Indian, or Black people on a whole, because when we just use the phrase of Black people, they talk about these 12 tribes. And again, as we bring this reminder, as we go in and we make mention concerning what is taking place right now in the earth, and as we look and as we see prophecies unfold, and if you had not seen Commanding General Yohanna lecture on Saturday, again it's up on the web page. Again, you can check it out. Commanding General Yohanna going in and breaking down again World War III and what is taking place right now in the earth. And as all this is taking place, the men under, or the men that follow the instructions of these these generals or Commanding General Yohanna, leading by example, and his men and his soldiers following these instructions, just as our King Yahushua or Jesus Christ give the men instructions. They went out and did one thing to bring that reminder to their brother. The same thing that the prophets all did. They brought that reminder, or was always reminding the nation of the conditions or the consequences, in not following after our father, not following the instructions that was passed down by the man that the Lord will put in charge, or to look over the nation, and will always bring that reminder. This is why today, when we make mention of Commanding General Yohanna, we do just make mention or bring his name to the forefront, because again, just as made mention, Paul make mention, he say in one of his letters, he say, show me your faith, and I go show you my faith with works. And this is what Commanding General Yohanna has been doing since coming into the truth, since coming up under righteous black men and understanding and knowing, what it is, how it is, or the criteria in being a brother. Because again, we lost that compassion, and we lost that sense, understanding of knowing that we were brothers and we are brothers. But society brought us to the point that we is like, we look at one another as arch rival. And and this is why, again, when we always go to our records and bring these reminders out, there's always a reminder to us as well, as we, being that pillar, or being, the ones who the Most High had reserved for this time. There's always, the wanting, or the aspect of, you being the example amongst brothers. And this is why, again, you know again, the topic again, or we go in again a little bit brief history on, again, does different cultures destroy black people in Trinidad. And it's something that has always been plaguing the mind of the people here in Trinidad, but always, taking hold of them. And when I say Trinidad, I mean, Trinidad and Tobago is one, but a lot of us, or a lot of people in Trinidad and Tobago, always look to the point of separation, that, Trinidad is one and Tobago is one. But again, this is what we named as, or labeled as a country under, the eyes of the oppressor. And this reminder would always be brought out. And as we bring this reminder on this platform, we always ask brothers and sisters again to tune into the classes as a reminder, to like and share, and to subscribe to the classes, because there's something that would always be of utmost importance. And what is that? The aspect, or you knowing that there's brothers, there's righteous black men in the earth today, because the Most High God always had that remnant to do what? To bring that reminder out. Always had that remnant to make mention, or to stand, as we say, firm, as in Ezekiel, as we say, hard, or make your face hard against them, because we know what we're coming up against on a daily basis. Brothers coming out, as we say, different parts or different walks of life. And by learning the customs and the culture of this society, it destroyed their mind and had them, in that limbo, and thinking that, everybody's one. It's okay, to do evil to your brother. It's okay to do evil to your sister. It's okay, to promote, as we say, any form of bestiality, any form of, as we say, things that can bring destruction to the minds, or you say, or to the soul of black people. And this is why, again, the culture that we have here in Trinidad is the cultures of, again, of these other nations that was brought through during the time, again, of slavery, during the time, we, thinking that everybody that came here, you know, whether it be, as we say, the Chinese, the East Indians, the as we say, the oppressor, or the white man, they were in, the same position that we were in as black people. But all these things, again, were lies that was, as we say, crafted and shaped to do what? To destroy the minds of these people. And this is why here in Trinidad, unless we do move away from culture and thinking that, that everything is okay, then we continue to be, as we see, what we see on a daily basis, the gun violence, again, in as we say, in Port of Spain, the environs, in Dago. It'll have until we continue to see that tearing point, library, wherever, black people reside, as we say, and, had been mentioned by, the captains and the generals, and, again, the ghettos is all Gaza. And as we, as we say, as our oppressor continue to, as we say, to bring or to push heavy crime, or to push, as you say, drugs and guns in these places, then the continuation, as we say, of us being arch rivalry to one another is high. But unless, there's righteous black men right here in Trinidad to bring that reminder, just as, in North, South, and Central America, to bring that reminder to our brothers and sisters in these places, then we'd see that change or that difference in the mindset of black people. And when I say black people, I talk about these 12 tribes or these brothers. Because now, understanding that we are brothers, and understanding that, as we say, we come from a lineage or a bloodline, this is, as we say, is a footpath to us coming back to knowing truth. Because, again, just as our King made mention, no man can come unto me lest the Father draw him. And how are you going to get drawn by the Father? By following what these instructions, these words that is recorded in our history book. And as we bring these reminders again, the reminders was always, to destroy or to bring to naught a lie that was pushed, or have been a cloud over our head for over, as we say, 400 years. Um, this is why, again, as we go in and bring that reminder, again, it will just be a brief history, again, on Christmas, in Trinidad and Tobago. Because, again, this is the time, as they say, or the season, or, where we have that jolly, that joy of coming together as one. But again, we're going to read something and read concerning, about this time. So, right? So, as we say, it's just a brief history, because I know a lot of people will always go back in history and, say that, oh, that where Christmas stem from, and, you used to celebrate Christmas. But a lot of people, you know, even the historians and all who promote the holiday, or promote Christmas, they as well, with do something to the point that where they would, give a brief synopsis on it, and then not go into the history on that time, as we say, or in that period or that year where a lot was taking place in the earth at that time, right? So, right, and it says, right, the history of Christmas in Trinidad and Tobago, according to the historical records, Christmas was first observed in Trinidad in 1569, right? The festival was celebrated by 6 priests of the order of observationists, headed by Miguel dos Dias Reyes, right? They visited several villages, right? Were treated to local cuisine, right? And again, this is where they stop on that. and they didn't even went. So now, at that point in time, as you say, 1596, then now it's to really go back and to understand what was taking place at that point in time in 1596, right? So anybody, to just pull up some a little history on so, history of Trinidad and Tobago. Yeah? Yeah? Just pull up the history of Trinidad and Tobago. Right? Type it up? Yeah, type it up. Right. Yeah, that's all. Let me see if I can share it. Check it there. Yeah, the history of Trinidad and Tobago. The history of Trinidad and Tobago begins with the settlements of the islands by indigenous First Peoples. Trinidad was visited by Christopher Columbus on his third voyage in 1498. Right. So remember now again when you type up again, the history of Christmas in Trinidad and Tobago, it make mention that that it was first observed in Trinidad in 1596. Now we starting off from the time where Columbus set voyage in Trinidad, and that time was 1498, right? Go ahead. He never landed in Tobago, right, and claimed in the name of Spain. Trinidad was administered by Spanish hands until 1797. Right. So what we were in the hand, as we say, and these Spaniards again, these were again oppressors, or say white people, because again the history on they were a colony just or they were tribes as well, and you would see they even in their reign, even up to today, there would always be rivalry against one another, fighting for that seat of power to see who would, would rule or who would, have that dominant position. Right? Yes, and you could scroll down to the part where it marks Spanish period, right? Yeah. Yeah. From time you start arrival of Columbus. Arrival of Columbus. The first ever contact with Europeans occurred when Christopher Columbus, who was on his third voyage of exploration, arrived at noon on the 31st of July, 1498. He landed at a harbor he called Point Galera, while naming the island Trinidad before proceeding into the Gulf of Paria via the Serpent's Mouth and the Caribbean Sea via Dragon's Mouth. Right. Go ahead. Tobago was seen by Columbus on the 14th of August 1498. He did not land, but named the island Balaforme
because from a distance it seemed beautiful.
Right. Go ahead to the next. To the next.
Colonial settlement of Trinidad. Trinidad is reported to have been densely populated at the beginning of the colonial period, although in 1510,
Right.
Trinidad was
Go ahead.
Trinidad was said to have the only peaceful Indians along the whole South American coast.
Right. So now it going into, as you say, because they made mention that 1596, that the festival was celebrated by 6 priests, right, of the order of observatinis, right, headed by Miguel Diaz Reyes, right. So now we going into, as we say, in the time, as you say, the 1500s, right, leading up to that time. Go ahead.
Demand for slaves to supply the pearl fisheries in nearby Isla Margarita led them being declared pirates and thus fair game for slaves in 1511.
Right. Because why? The indigenous people, or as you said, the native Indians, again, they when you go back and again, and you can go in and read in second or first Ezra concerning that voyage that took place, and go back and read in the book, I believe it's Kings, when it had that time where the nation was divided, and as we say, the 9.5 tribes left off and came, as we see, on this side of the earth, or what we call the western side, and resided for over a period of time. And Columbus, in his voyage, as we say, and studying these 12 tribes, or as we say, the Lord's chosen people, in his time made that request, as we say, to the then, as we say, Queen of Spain, to make that voyage. And upon being granted the permission to make that voyage, came across to this side. And in the history of his being, as we say, coming on this side, which was again in the 1500s, that was 1526, right? They were again some 12 million again slaves was brought. So again, that was that time. But now he coming to this side now, came to do what? To search out these people, right? Go ahead.
As a consequence of this, Trinidad and Tobago became the focus of Spanish slaving raids, primarily to supply Margarita's pearl fisheries.
Right. So this was like a hub, and like just as we look at it today, here is always a point where they would always look to feed offer, and it's the same thing that was back then. Right. Go ahead.
In 1530, Antonio Cedeno was appointed governor, granted a contract to settle in Trinidad with an eye towards discovering long rumored El Dorado and controlling the trade in slaves.
Right. So this, as we say, this oppressor, he was given that task, and to come here with the eye, or to come here to do what? Just as been mentioned, to control the trade in the slaves, right? So he would be, as the one who's saying, yeah, you could go, you could come, use a good one, wherever, as we say, it might be, to that point, right? Go ahead. Yeah, I will just continue to read. Right? Discovering long rumor El Dorado controlling the slave trade in 1532, he attempted to establish a settlement, but was driven off the island following the Battle of Comacoparo, right, or the place of the silk cotton tree. He withdrew to Margarita, but returned a year later and built a settlement, right? So we're just going to read a little article on Antonio Sedeno, right? Right. Antonio Sedeno died in 1538, was a Spanish conquistador and governor of Trinidad between 1530 and 1538, right? And 1538, right? By 1514, Fernandine had named Andres Ojero as manager of Puerto Rican Royal Mines and Farms, Baltazar and Castro and Contado, Antonio as factor, and Diego the ace as Bedor Baltazar. Antonio and Diego held those positions until at least 1520. Before his appointment, his position in Trinidad, Sedeno had been the royal treasurer of Puerto Rico. He obtained letters from the king appointing him as captain and governor general of Trinidad on July 12, 1530. He then sailed from the port San Carlos of the Bermuda, returned to Puerto Rico, and arrived in Trinidad on November 8, 1530, right? With 2 cavalries and 70 men, he landed on the Bay of Erin, which provided which provided shelter and was the only coast of the island known to the Spaniards at that time, right? At first, Sedeno treated the natives of the island with consideration and justice and was received well by them, right? He distributed gifts to the indigenous people who came to greet him, who came to greet them, and the Kik Maroon welcomed him as an ally against other natives. So this, as we say, the native Indians, as we say, because again, they always like to draw or use the Caribbean Arawaks and always, highlighted it as these people that are savages. But again, when we go back and again and read and we, the truth in our records explained, concerning these people or these 12 tribes or these brothers, they were always they always had that zeal to serve the Lord. And this is why again, after they removed or break off and decided to take voyage to come across here, just as the scripture make mention, to come to this new place, as we say, that called I.S.U.P.K, where they could, serve the Lord. But as time go on, or they would start to do the one thing that we wasn't supposed to do. Start to, as we say, carve driven images or idols and start to worship these things. And this is why, again, at that time, and this is why, again, it always been mentioned that slavery is in the Bible. And this is why Deuteronomy chapter 28, again, you could go 28 and 68, it would make mention concerning cargo slave ships. So before, as we say, where they would like to say the African people or black or use the term African people, because again, we're not Africans. Because those were the people that wronged us up and sold us, as they say, to the oppressor. And again, the Arabs or the Arabs, they were the merchants at that time. They brought us here on these cargo slave ships, right? So right. So let's read a little more, right? Welcome him as an ally against other natives. He used the short period of the place to build a fort, right? The Spaniards' treatment of the natives then turned harsh as their food ran out and they raided the village of Comacopor, right? And just like as we say, our oppressors would always do, you know, and it's the same thing that happened to the native Indians, you know, when they thought they were being, as we say, just as the spirit that black people have on them, and I say black people, these 12 tribes have, we will always have compassion for the oppressor. Always, you know, try to treat all our enemies in the way that the righteous, as the scripture say, when the righteous in authority, everybody would have, you know, their portion, would have, you know, instructions to follow. And this is why again it's so important that we should always, you know, again go back and because again we need time where instead that we go, as you say, you go to the library, or not saying that they don't have, you could go to the library, but now as you say, everything is at the fingertips, where we, you know, we could Google and look at certain parts of history, and we can bring it up. And this is what taking place. Because now we read earlier that the Christmas was celebrated first in 1569 in Trinidad, and it make mention of six priests. But now we're doing the history, the brief history concerning around that time period, where, as we see, it had wars, it had rivalry against the natives, against, you know, as we say, the colonizer or the oppressor coming and invading the land of you know, of black people, right? Right? The Spaniards' treatment of the natives turned harsh as their food ran out. They raided the villages of Kumokopo in the north of the island. This prompted fighting, which plagued the rest of the years Sedano's rule. All the natives, except those, right, headed by the Maroon, then attacked the Spaniards and forced Cedeno to flee their fort and arms, held out for long enough for them to do so. And the Maroon helped them in the process, right? Cedeno returned to Puerto Rico and attempted to raise new men and supplies to reestablish a presence in Trinidad, which turned out to be difficult as people had heard about the conflict. He went on to terraform on mainland South America and arrived on land ruled by Chief, right, Tapuri. He realized the inconvenience of a settling and made an agreement with Tapuri that supplies could be shipped from Puerto Rico to his land in preparation of a successful entry into Trinidad. Some soldiers had remained on the island and settled in Fort Paria, which was taken by another conquistador, Diego de Ortiz. When Cedeno sent the cavalry to Paria with the new supplies, the ship turned around fearful of Odious and instead landed in Camparo. The natives appeared welcoming at the beginning, but their mistrust prompted them to attack the new settlers a week later, killing 24 of the 30, and 6 survivors returned to Puerto Rico on the Calvary. Right? So now, again, Puerto Rico, at that point in time, again, as when you go on and do the history again, you know, Columbus coming across and starting to, you know, come through north, south, and Central America, coming down the land, as you say, through the islands, and, you know, making, you know, as we say, as the land, because now we start to learn these people, because now we always had a history, and again, this history was always taught to our oppressors that who these people are, and this is why again, you knowing who you are or knowing your identity is one of the most important things that any Black, Latino, or Native Indian should know. Because why? This would help in the oppressed mind state that we in, or the condition that we in, and help us to come through from that low state. Just as we, our records made mention, the Lord raised us up from the dust of the ground, from that low state, and bring us to the point where we could recognize something, that we supposed to be ruling and running this earth in righteousness. And as we say, all these festivals, or as you say, these pagan holidays, or these holidays by our oppressors, is nothing that we used to patronate or partake in. But again, over that time period, by taking on the customs and cultures, this is what we, as we say, we transform to our mindset, and we start to grow up with children, and we start to grow up, grow them up in these customs and these cultures, right? So, let's, let's have a little piece here. There's no 1 minute. Right. So after so the no pass, as you say, his time was from 1530 to 1538, right? Then it had a next oppressor that was given the task, and this was one Ponce de Leon the second, right? So just a brief history on him coming up to that time, right? One Ponce de Leon, right, the second, 1524 to 1591, was a Spanish official and acting governor of Puerto Rico. He was the first acting governor to be born on the island, right? Early years of Ponce de Leon birth, right, was born in San Juan, Puerto Rico, right? Viceroyal of New Spain, right? Juan Garcia, right? Right, the settlement in Trinidad. Ponce de Leon was sent by the Spanish crown to establish settlement on the island of Trinidad in 1569. So now, again, we just read concerning the history of Christmas in Trinidad, where it say Trinidad and Tobago, according right to the history records, Christmas was first observed in Trinidad in 1569, right? So making that observation now again, and not knowing the history of what taking place, because again at that point in time now, who was the inhabitants of as you say, of the land in Trinidad? They were the who? The native Indians, or the native indigenous people. Again, the as we say, the so-called tribe of Asha, tribe of Gad, tribe of Reuben. These were the indigenous people, or the natives at that point in time. Because why? They were transversing to and fro through the islands, through North, South, and Central America. And this is why, again, when we make mention concerning, hey, when we hear, as we say, these East Indians, as we say, our brothers and sisters open their mouth and say, send back, these Venezuelans back. They were always transversing to and fro through the islands since before even the time that we were came here, as we say, our forefathers came here. Black, as we say, where we will look at, as we say, skin tone, complexion. But again, we were the only people that was called black people. But they use the term African now to make that separation or that distinction to show that, hey, that we are not the same people. But again, going back and reading the records, which would set everything straight. Again, Genesis 49, Jacob speaking to his sons, these sons and them, and bringing that reminder and letting them know, hey, this is what will befall you in the last days. this is where we end up. And so said, so done again. Because why? These things were prophesied, are old, and was a reminder to us today that we could go back in our history and read about it. So it say settlement the island of Trinidad in 1569. He founded the town of circumcision, probably around modern Labantil in 5070. This settlement was abandoned, possibly because of the raids by the Caribs, which resulted in the death of Ponce de Leon's sons. According to some historians, Ponce de Leon II may have been on and off governor of the island from 1571. So at that point in time, when they made mention concerning, the history of Christmas and concerning, the greetings at the natives, when we go back and read concerning, as we say, the previous oppressor, when you say the greeting, and they took that and formulate or constructed, this doctrine around that. Because now when they go back and you look at the history, what was taking place, as we say, in Rome, or as we say on the eastern side at that time, it had revolts at that time concerning the priesthood with these Catholic priests and them. And this is why, again, they came and they used this, and they formulate or constructed a doctrine just like any of our oppressors would do, and try to form something or to bring something to life that a people would, would run off or would feed off without, as we say, without truth. And by doing this, because now, as you say, we see what took place when then again these oppressors food ran out. What took place? They started to do what? Raid, just like any one of these oppressors will do. They only think about their own self, And again, we see where black people would always come to the aid and always try to, shelter them. And it's the same thing that we see in today. And this is why, again, our people, as we say, or black people on a whole in Trinidad, the different cultures that we take up and the different customs that we take up is what have us in this condition today, is what, brought us to this low place or the destruction of our minds. And this is why, again, every time we patronate or we partake in any celebration that is not, commanded unto us through our records by the Most High God. Again, you could go to the book of Leviticus 23, and they could give a whole list of these the high holy days, the list of the whole feast days that we supposed to do what? Supposed to recognize, because of what? Of the same thing that we read here, that all forefathers didn't stand, as we say, for no mamagism, or no, as we say, no, as we say, sweet talk. But again, this is who the oppressor is. You would come, just as you say, with the smooth words, or as the scripture make, like butter, and then persuade your mind into believing, hey, this is where it is about. And then behind your back now, he come and destroy you. So they making mention concerning the history of Christmas. At that point in time, they just use that ploy or that plot to make it look like, because at that point in time, as you say, the oppressor arrived and they were greeted. They then went down to the path where it showed that how, as the oppressor started, as we say, hunger, or he started to do what? Raid the villages. He started unalive brothers, because for his own gain. And this is why, again, it's the same thing that when every time these these oppressor holidays come up, that they would see brothers, falling victim, sisters falling victim, to what? By we trying to take up a custom and a culture that doesn't belong to us. And this is why, again, we have a book rich or full in history and records guide that we could open these records and, that as righteous black men from the, as you say, from the time of old, even to now, that the Most High God always had that remnant, always had that spirit of men moving through the earth to always keep that reminder to the nation. And this is why our record, again, is the only record in the earth we could get a brief history or history on all these other nations. And this is why, again, the culture and, that, or the different cultures that we pick up here in Trinidad, the only so, as we see, we could move from moving away from culture and understanding truth, we must move away from that. And again, you would find the example through the men in the I.S.U.P.K under Commanding General YAHANNA. And this is why Commanding General YAHANNA, again, been holding down this truth since, coming down from the men that righteous black men that raised them, holding down from 1969, even to where we are right now, as you say, in 2023. And that reminder would be continue to be brought out until the coming of our King Yahushai. Because why? The Most High always had that reserve. Always had that reserve, always put that spirit in him, because the Most High has a repetition. And that repetition would only be recognized in the men that do what? That stand for truth and walk upright. And do be swayed or moved, just as the scripture says, by any wind or doctrine. And this is why, again, it's so important, right? You give me Jeremiah chapter 2 and verse, you start at verse 33.
The book of Jeremiah chapter 2 and verse 33. Why trimmest thy ways to seek the Lord? Therefore, as thou also taught the wicked ones thy ways.
Right. And by doing this, and as that season or that time approach, and that, just coming out from what we see took place to the North American Indians or the Native Indians or the indigenous people in America, our brother from the tribe of God. What took place on the reservations, again, was always a reminder to us that our oppressor only has one motive or one main achieving goal, is always to do what? To destroy or to kill. As the scripture says, a thief cometh to kill, steal, and destroy. He only have one thing to do, because he wanted to do what? To rule. He wanted power. Now, and this is why, again, in the I.S.U.P.K under Commanding General YAHANNA, again, we understand what it is and what it takes to rule. And this is why, again, we must say again, Barakatai Yahweh for the men, in the school, from the general come straight down to the trooper, to the men that the Most High God's Spirit is being waken up to truth. Because why? When we trim our ways, as been mentioned, what take place? We taught the wicked ones, right? We taught the wicked ones thy ways. Because now we trim in ways, they see that it's okay to do what they're doing. That shows that, again, when the righteous do wrong and the wicked see that, they say, yeah, it's okay to do that. But when the righteous do right, they know will have to fall in line. And this is why, again, we not being in the position in ruling the earth. This is why the earth in this condition today. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 34. Also, in thy skirts is found the blood of souls of the poor innocents.
Right, go ahead.
I have not found it by secret search, but upon all these.
Right, and this was no secret, because watch how much people, as we say, was unalive, just by you trimming your ways, just by you not being, as we say, the person, as we say, that gatekeeper, by you moving from posts. Look at what take place by you, as we say, being being that person, or that in the coming up in the priesthood, to bring that reminder to the people, to the nation. Now, what were you doing? You're coming on, as we say, on every platform or every media platform, and promoting what lies, promoting this festivity, or this holiday, because again it had the history on Christmas, and it show you in the islands, throughout the Caribbean, through North, South, and Central America, start to promote what your lies. And because now the men, or the, as you say, the gatekeepers, as the scripture says, the gate language, they start to do what? Promote for you. And you, as we say, as a people and a nation, follow or walk under a footstep. Again, culture, different cultures is what destroy us as a people here in Trinidad. Right? Give me Jeremiah 3:1.
Jeremiah chapter 3 and verse 1. They say, if a man put away his wife, and she go from him, and become another man's, shall he return unto her again?
And this was our question. Now, so now Jeremiah now again, and this was one of the prophets, one of the men that the Lord, used in his time, and to do what? To bring forth truth, to bring forth reminder, to bring forth, that spirit, or that brotherhood, in reminding these 12 tribes, or reminding his brothers that, hey, if you do this, as they say, because we know it against you going and sleep with another man's wife. It in our laws, it in our records. But what we do now, again, we trim ways. And what we started to do, we started to sleep with your brother wife. We started to do what? Lie to we brother. Started to do what? All manner of evil. Right? Go ahead.
Shall not that land be greatly polluted?
Right? And he specify it. Because now, something that was already, prepped and already was taken care of, and had, that head or that hedge over it. Now something else, again, or somebody come and till or interfere with that soil, and start to do what? Pour, as we say, different chemical, or as you say, or poison that soil, right? And it become more polluted. Go ahead.
But thou hast played the harlot with many lovers.
And why? Now it show you a man with the wife, with the example, and now it bringing it straight to us. This is what we do. We take on different culture, different ways, following the customs and culture here in Trinidad. We take up the ways of our oppressor. We celebrating Christmas. When they show it, they just give a little brief song and they run with it. And you know, thinking parang, they rose or whatever. And again, all these things was just a ploy to move your mind, or to sway your mind away from it. Because again, Nothing in wrong with parang music. Just remember that. These are people, as we say, you know, as we say at that point in time, because now again we are this feast they coming up, which is the feast Akaneka, right? Is feast Akaneka? Which one is coming up? Akaneka. This is our feast that we do, and it had history on it. And Lord allow on that day we will bring it out, or in a previous in a class to come we'll bring it out. The history on it, we'll bring it out. This is a feast that we celebrate for 7 days. Now you take up the custom and the culture of the heathen and walking after the, as you say, the ways of our oppressor. Now you only looking forward, as you say, to his one day. A day that, as we say, that you only get a brief synopsis on it and then even know the whole history behind it. Because you think, watch how long Christmas is an old custom. An old custom, because we go and read that in First Maccabees. An old custom that was promoted by the heathen in their reign, in their time, that we as a people should supposed to, if we didn't take heed to it, then we'd be unalive. Now we come in now and reading now, because now when you look up, as they say, Nahles or the ones and them who spearheading over, the affairs, as we say, the festivity, Christmas, they now drop that now, just as it is, and even give a history or a background check on what that really is. And this is why, again, you knowing the truth, and this is what make you free. Because now, in order to be free, you must know truth. Your mind must move from the lies that they have been taught. A lot of our people today would say, we know Christmas is a lie, Santa is a lie, we know that birth is a lie. But what we still do, we still trim ways. Before we move away from it and really take up the customs and the culture that all forefathers had laid for us from that time, as we say, our book filled with history and the records that we could go back and we could look, as we say, the whole of Leviticus 23, give you a rundown in detail, and every feast day or every high holy day that is coming up, and we were supposed to recognize it. Because why? We were the only people that was that serve under every nation in the earth. And again, there's 80 nations in the earth, and there's a list. We serve under every one of them. Every one of the 17. And not recognizing that we were the people who supposed to be running the earth, or the kings of the earth. And by taking up the customs and the culture, different cultures, now we, as we say, we to the bottom of the chain in the Caribbean. Just in the, as we say, in the arms of Venezuela, or in the arms of the tribe of Asha. And what we do? We still do what? Take up the customs and cultures of the ways, because why? Because of not understanding who he is and not knowing who he is. But again, the truth is out. Black people is waking up. And when I say black people, I'm talking about these 12 brothers, these 12 tribes. And we being here in the Caribbean, as we say, from, let me say, Jamaica, come down that train, the Lesser Antilles, Greater Antilles, Bahamas, come down. We being from that tribe, or the tribe of Benjamin, go back and read Genesis 49, and they go tell you, this is where we at. This is where we at. And we will always be, as we say, these people who, if we take up the custom and the culture of these other nations, it will bring us to this demise. And as we read and it make mention, and it say, right? But thou hast played the harlot with many lovers. This is what we have been doing since during, as you say, coming out of slavery. Before, in that time and all, even coming out of Egypt, we still wanted to do what, to go back. Because why? We always believe that, being close to the people them that oppress us is always a safe haven. But the Lord always made mention that he made us a holy people or a royal people unto himself. Or holy means kodash in the Hebrew, separate. We were always supposed to be separated from these other nations, because now this is why you see he put every nation, every people in their own land. And this oppressor now again came and started to do what? Go into each and every land. And again, all that is in history. You can read about it. Right? Go ahead, Salake, go ahead, who we at? Jeremiah 3 and 1. Nah, I could continue from that will love us. I can continue the last part of the precept.
Yet again, yet return again to me, saith the Most High.
All right, go ahead.
Verse 2. Lift up thine eyes unto the high places, and see where thou hast not been laying within. Been laying with.
Right, and he said, lift up here, look. See who you haven't been around, just as made mention. See who who customer, who culture we haven't patrionated or taken part of. Go ahead.
In the ways as thou sat for them.
Right.
As an Arabian in the wilderness, and thou hast polluted the land with thy whoredom and with thy wickedness.
Right, and he make mention, or he liken we unto one of we oppressor. Liken we to one of we oppressor. And by doing that, we take up the ways of custom, because why? We do something, we trim we ways. And when we trim we ways now, we make it known to the wicked that, hey, nah, it's okay. It's okay. Go ahead.
Therefore, the showers have been withholden, and there have been no latter rain, and thou hast a hoarse forehead, thou refusest to be ashamed.
And this is where we are in 2023. We still want to celebrate Christmas. We still want to, as we say, celebrate, as we say, all these upcoming, pagan holidays. We still want to do that. Because why? Because of the society or the upbringing that we have been bringing. And this is why, again, the culture in Trinidad and Tobago, it stinks. Why it stinks? Because now you know what we do? We don't want to move away from this culture, this custom. Because moving away from it would only do one thing. It would remind us of dropping the ways that we're supposed to drop. Because now, as you say, we learn evil. Now, in order for we to come back and learn truth or to learn good, we must drop that. We must drop the evil ways that we learn here in Trinidad, in Tobago. We must drop that. And if we don't drop that and continue to go on, then where is the solution? That is, as you say, that be promoting on the airwaves as you 24/7. Everybody have their input concerning what going on in the country, why this happening, why crime taking place, why so much black youths or as you say brothers being unalive, even our Hispanic brothers being unalive. Why it is, and it keep on, the question keep going on. You know why? Because now we don't want to change. We don't want to move away from these customs or these cultures. Because now we taking up the custom and the culture, these heathens, it suffice all us. But God love everybody. Which part we could go and get the understanding concerning that? The Most High God always had a choice or a prize to do what? To uphold his reputation. And that choice or that prize will do what? Would govern or have that overseeing each and every one. And this is why, again, he say he didn't choose us because we was few in numbers, because why? He want to show what? Or demonstrate his power in the earth. That he is the Lord. He is the overseer. He is the most high power. Who do what? Who give each and every, as we say, the human race, the opportunity to move in the earth. But within that he choose one, or he raise one to do what? To govern it, or to look over it. And this is who you are. Black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man. And again, these are just by names. Black people are now old, because again, we're not Africans. And I stress enough or stress more on it, or continue to stress on it, because why? This is something that we need to get out of our mind. This is a culture that we need to move away from and stop thinking that we is this nation or this people. Because again, the history day, everything right there. And this is why, again, this reminder would be brought out. Right? Continue on, Babakasha.
Verse 4. Will thou not from this time cry unto me, my father, thou art the guide of my youth?
All right, go ahead.
Verse 5. Will he reserve his anger forever? Will he keep it to the end? Behold, thou hast spoken and done evil things as thou couldst.
All right, go ahead.
Verse 6. The Most High said also unto me in the days of Josiah the king, as thou seen that which backslided Israel had done, she has gone up every high mountain and under every green tree, and they had played the harp.
So now we go on in the part of the history, because now at that point in time, when you go back and you read again in the book of Kings, the book of Chronicles, it show you again the history where it had a split, where the kingdom split because of what? Because of we taking on or trimming new ways to take up the customs and the culture of these nations for power. It always had order. It always had the one who the Most High God choose for to rule over the nation. And this is why, as we see Jesus Christ or Yahushua in the Hebrew, he is the king of Israel. He would be sitting on that throne and reigning over these 12 tribes and bringing everyone in order in subjection. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 7. And I said, after she had done all these things, turn thou unto me. But she returned not, and her treacherous sister Judah saw it.
Right, and when the split, as we say, the nine and a half that came to the Americas, to the Caribbean, the ones who remained at that point in time, as we say in Jerusalem, as we say in Israel at that time, was Judah, Benjamin, and again part of the tribe of Levi. Because at that point in time, the priesthood or the tribe of Levi, they wasn't, again, was looked at as a tribe, but they were holding the duty of the priesthood. And they always used to move with wherever these tribes settled, wherever the Lord had us at that point in time, they would always have the priesthood amongst the tribes. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 8. And I saw, when for all the causes whereby backsliding Israel committed adultery I had put her away
Right.
and given her a bill of divorce.
Mm-hmm.
Yet the treacherous sister Judah feared not, but went and played the harlot also.
So now it's like one brother could not look up on one and say, hey, nah, look what you do. Now the next brother come and do the same thing. Come and do the same thing with the other brother did. And this is why, again, when we take up them customs and them cultures and walk after, as we say, the ways of the heathen, this is what happened to us today. This is why, as we say, the black and black crime, the gun violence, as we say, the drug cartel running throughout, throughout Central and South America. Every day is only unalive, and every day, as we say, big slave, big trade with as we say, with our sisters being transported. As we say, the oppressor coming in, as you say, the Chinese association, wherever association, the Arab association, coming container and taking containers of our sisters. Everyday sister missing from the reservation. You name it. And again, this is why, again, even the reminder, look right there in Trinidad again, same thing. Every day you're seeing, for the past couple, months, this system is in, that system is in, this young, today, he's still coming and tell you about celebrate Christmas. Still coming and tell you about celebrate New Year's. He's still coming and tell you about celebrate Thanksgiving. Because why? Because he trim your ways. Because he do something against, or he do some evil towards your brother. And what you do? You make your brother, or I say compromise the well-being of your brother for a gift, for your own loss, your own desire. Right? But
Verse 8. And I saw, when for all the causes whereby backsliding Israel committed adultery, I had put her away and given her a bill of divorce. Yet the treacherous sister feared not, but went and played the harlot. Verse 9. And it came to pass, through the lightness of her whoredom, that she defiled the land and committed adultery with stones and with stocks.
right, and what took place? Again, we could go back in the book of Maccabees and we could see what take place at that point in time. The heathen come in, every unclean thing started to take place on the altar. Where we're supposed to be a place, I just say, where we make the sacrifice, or where we kill a lamb, boom. Started kill swine flesh. Started, as I say, do all manner of evil, all manner of, as we say, unrighteousness. They started go against the dietary law. Because now we have a dietary law, Leviticus 11. They are all breakdown. And at the end, I tell you, hey, this is the difference that the Lord made between the unclean and the clean animals, things that they can eat and things that they're not supposed to eat. Now all breakdown. That day for we, as a reminder. But again, in Trinidad and Tobago again, same thing, different culture, different custom. This is what we walk out after, and believing that, hey, this right, this is the way, right? Go ahead.
God. So
It was 10.
verse 10. And yet for all this, the treacherous sister Judah had not turned unto me with her whole heart, but friendly, saith the Lord.
Right? Because why? She wasn't genuine. She wasn't genuine. She do the same thing and then turn back. Because why? Again, you want to run with as I say, as I say, just as he, then you're freeing yourself. But again, they would only use you for a period of time and then drop you on the wayside. And this is why again, as I say, this promotion, what they're promoting, this is just a promotion to do what? To sell out all or you know, to make blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians be arch rivalry against one another. Because again, you run, as you say, run on your 9 to 5, and as you say, all your hard-earned money, as you say, where you work or your, as you say, when it's supposed to be, as the scripture say, that defense, now you take it and you use it to do what? To support the as we say, the ways of the oppressor. And this is why, again, the condition that they will live in, they continue to live off of you. As you continue to face that hell, that condition, as you say, where hell is that condition and heaven, that condition, they would continue to live that lavish lifestyle. Well, while you work for them or you slave for them on a 9 to 5 and continue to fill the pockets. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 11. And the Most High said unto me, the backsliding Israel hath justified herself more than treacherous Judah.
Go ahead.
Verse 12. Go and proclaim these words towards the north, and say, return, thou backsliding Israel,
right,
saith the Most High.
Right, and he say, go and proclaim these words to the north. Where we are right now, we are the children of Israel, and where we are the on the northern side. We are away from where we're supposed to be, because the scripture said this is not, we're not in the homeland. We're far away from home. We're far away from home. And this is why, again, what we're doing is the same thing that was already recorded before time. And as scriptures that make mention, it say, go and proclaim these words. We're telling our brothers and sisters in Trinidad that stop celebrating Christmas. Stop walking after the promotion of lies. Because now again, the history day, they drop a piece of history, 1569, and they just stop. They didn't even go into detail. They didn't even go to say what was taking place around that time. Although they say that, these 6 priests didn't show you that, oh, hey, it had an alive taking place. It had, the conquistadors or these oppressors unaliving brothers defending it. But now you come up with, as I say, with this, as we say, this framed or this wicked and evil holiday to trap or enslave the minds of blacks or brothers and sisters here in Trinidad. Again, these are lies. That Christmas, the history right. You have no history of Christmas. The history of Christmas, go and read the whole history of Christmas, and they will see what took place at that time and who it is and who formulated and where it stemmed from. And they will see everything leading straight back to the oppressor. It has nothing to do with our king, Yahweh. Again, our oppressor God is Ezra. This has everything to do with their God. As we see that depiction or that white depiction where they see hanging up, coming up more and more closer to the time. As again, in Trinidad, because again, each and every one of our grandparents, even our parents, with hold fast right here in Trinidad to that depiction. Because why? Because of that Roman 9 or that, as you see, that Catholic doctrine or that religion that was brought up under, and thinking that that this, as you say, is who he is. This is the Christ. When really and truly it have in our records given a description to destroy that white, as you see, that image or that depiction. Right? Go ahead.
Return, thou backsliding Israel, saith the Most High, and I will cause my anger to fall upon you.
Right.
For I am merciful, saith the Most High, and I will not keep anger forever.
Right. Because why? This is our Father. And the Lord being a Father unto us, it always had that time period. And we in that time period now. Since the return of our King Yahushua or Jesus Christ, that time a repentance was given. Because again, it had a time where this place could have come to, as we say, to destruction, heavy destruction. But because the Lord was merciful, and as the scripture or record make mention, he's slow to anger, but know that the judgment sure. So don't feel that it didn't happen this time. What you thinking is, and you could delay that time. No, it always have the opportunity, and this is why you say everyone is going to get the opportunity to do what they hear this. This is the time that, as Commanding General Yana went into, as you say, to the prophecy, or went into World War III and make mention or remind us, look for these things. And we not just as we say, we in here, we have a job to do. We in the point or the time of fishing. While these things unfold, we remind one another daily, hey, don't get weary. As we say, proper brother shoulder. Remind us, sisters, keep, as we say, hold fast. Because why? As it made mention, if it was possible, if it be possible, that, as we say, Satan or the deceiver would deceive the very elect, the chosen one. But the Most High God always had a reserve, that remnant. That would not, as we say, though we go through, as we say, every, as we say, trial and tribulation on a daily basis, know this: Most High always give us that burden, and He say He never give us more than we could bear. Because why? This is why, understanding what brotherhood is, understanding what is being a brother is so important. Because why? This is what will carry you to the end. This is what go, as we say, make you, or bring you to that place where hey, nah, we had that assurance. Because again, these records, it's full are all the solutions to black people problem. And again, when I say black people, I'm talking about these 12 tribes, these brothers, right? We are 13.
Verse 13. Only acknowledge thy iniquity, and thou hast transgressed against the Most High thy power, and hast scattered thy ways to the strangers under every green tree.
Right. So he said, only acknowledge thine iniquity, that thou hast transgressed against the Lord. And this is our way back. This is we path way back. This is a reminder unto us. Because why? It always had that pathway back. Because now we are acknowledge, now we was doing real madness or nonsense, was foolishness. And this is why again, when we make mentions of certain things, because of the, as we say, our oppressor being so sensitive, even sensitive right now on every media platform. But know this: the Lord is a man of war, and we always war to the end. Because why? In war there are many different tactics, and the Lord, again, our forefathers being brought up and being reminded, always had this. We always had these records or these blueprints to do what? To know how to combat, or how to go to war, how to take ground in every different aspect, or every walk, or every challenge that we face. Because why? It's a reminder unto us today, right? Give me Romans 12 and 1. No question. Yeah, Romans 12.
Romans chapter 12 and verse 1. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of the Most High, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, wholly acceptable unto the Most High, which is your reasonable service.
And this is where we are right now in the I.S.U.P.K under Commanding General Yana. Because why? When you look at the men inside here, these men and them again, just as been reminded as our brother, that we would be a representation of our King Yahweh because he did what? He represented us. He made a pathway for us to do what? So that the Most High God, our Father, could see and look down on us with some and give us some mercy. Because at that, we didn't deserve it. We didn't deserve it. But know this, the Most High God is our Father, and He always give that He always had compassion for His children. And this is why, again, our brothers and sisters in Trinidad, again, Tobago, again, a reminder to us, a reminder to us. These different cultures that we take up is what is destroying us. You see this Christmas coming up, drop it. Make, as you say, make that step. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 2. And be not conformed to the world, but be you transformed by the renewing of your mind.
And this is where we bring in and bringing that reminder. Change your ways. Change your ways. Drop the culture. They come up with some kind of, as we say, they get a short, brief history on Christmas, a lie. Then they take it and they run with it. Where we at now, as you say, we can't wait. Everybody with as you say, with that cloud of Christmas, as you say, as a myth in the mind, and it brings you to the point where hey, you continue to destroy yourself, But the Most High God always a reminder you could be, your thinking could be renewed because why? There's recorded history about what? About customs and the cultures that we follow. Our minds could be renewed by doing what? By coming back to our history, coming back to our custom, coming back to our records. Because again, the Bible is a recorded history book and it belongs to black people. And when I say black people, these 12 tribes are the nation of Israel, or Jacob 12 sons. Because this is why he may mention in our records that he's called Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Because now this is who his reputation would be represented through. And Jacob, being the last, had 12 sons. And these 12 sons was the inheritance of what? Of this, as we say, this repetition, of the Lord's repetition. Right? Go ahead.
That you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of the Most High.
And amongst every nation, and amongst, as we say, even now, as we say, our brothers and sisters, this would be the demonstration. Because why? It will be proven. And this is why, again, we always say that in the I.S.U.P.K, under Commanding General YAHANNA, you never lose a battle yet. The Lord has never lose a battle yet. Whether we come up against any religion or any doctrine or any philosophy, and never lose, and we never lose. Because why? These records stand for itself. We're reading out as the truth. And the truth never change. A lie will change, but the truth will never change. Men would come, as you say, try to change the doctrine, but it would never change. Because why? This is the repetition of the Lord, and the Lord always choose men or prophets, righteous men, to do what? To uphold and continue in teaching these records and bringing these reminders. Right? 1 Peter 5. Right? Close it off. 1 Peter 5. Start at 4.
1 Peter chapter 5 verse 4. And when the chief shepherd shall appear, you shall receive a crown of glory that fadeth not away.
And then again, this is the return of our King Yahweh. Again, he being the head, or as we say, or the King of Israel. This is something that again that you being or walking after truth, and as we say, as men, teaching men to do right and in trim your ways, it always have a reward. There's always a reward. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 5. Likewise, you younger, submit yourselves unto the elder.
Go ahead.
Yea, all of you be subject one to another, and be clothed with humility.
And this is what Commandant General raised it. From since 1969, he been brought up. He been, teaching or raising young men, young brothers, young sisters, families to do what? To have humility. Go ahead.
For the Most High resisteth the proud.
Because why? From the time you start to be proud, this is what will happen. Because now you say, I can trim away a little again. And the example is you giving the wicked the opportunity to do what? To continue to promote. And it's time for you to stop be proud. Brothers and sisters, as you say in Silas, John, Lab, until here in Trinidad, time for us to stop be proud. Go ahead.
And giveth grace to the humble.
Right? And why? When we humble ourselves, then we would see, as we say, things start to move or things start to be formulated in a different way. The Lord will do what? You would, as we say, what you will hold nothing back. Just as Commandant General Yana had been making mention, hey, prepare, that time coming, where brothers and sisters would turn to this truth and seek out the truth. Because why? Because of the, as you say, because of the proudness, now the rigid point, they realize they're not accepted. Because again, we don't own anything, as we say. Look at all the franchise, all these places here in Trinidad. Who own them? Black people don't own none. Again, these are reminders. Go ahead.
Verse 6. Humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of the Most High, that he may exalt you in the due time.
Right? And where's the hand of the Lord? These records. These records is the hand of the Lord. And this is why, again, when you look in the I.S.U.P.K under Commanding General, and I see men doing what? Men being humble. Because why? Because we know that the Lord had made promise unto Jacob. As you say, unto he made that promise. Made that promise unto us, and the Lord never went back on his promise. And this is why, again, on the return of our King Yahweh Shai or Jesus Christ, know this, that this place is going to, as we say, going to go to the knees. And all that, what they promote, again, always, again, a reminder. And we say, when we look at what take place, as we say, at that point in time, because of they not bringing out that part of the history concerning, again, the history of Christmas in Trinidad, they know what it would have destroyed our life, because they know that the indigenous people were no duppy. They were warlords. They come from our bloodline. And when I say warlords, they will stand for what is right. They will not let anybody come and, as I say, win or find themselves in between the midst of them. And this is why this is a reminder. And again, just as we make mention, has or been made mention in the earlier part, that does culture, or does different culture destroy Black people in Trinidad? This is a question again. Any brother or any sister could could chime in or ask. And the answer up on the web page. They have a number. Again, you can call in as a reminder. ask a question. Again, Commanding General Yana has been solving all the problems and all the issues in the Black, Latino, Native Indian community. And when we see been solving, because now we knows, I understand what our fathers laid down, and the Most High God again always choose, that brother or that person in every time frame. Shall the Most High God destroy a city without a warning? Know this, Trinidad. Know this, Tobago. The Most High God is bringing a warning, and this warning is to us right here in the Caribbean, here in Trinidad and Tobago, and through all the Caribbean where we reside. That warning is to us. Again, they have a number on the webpage, that the reminder there. Call, as we say, now is the time that you should really move away and free your mind. Because why? The Lord always had his hand in it, in truth and righteousness, in bringing that reminder to us. Because why? We are at the point of crying. Right now, look at every article on the newspaper you're seeing. Protests come together. But when you look at the face or the front page of the article, or every article that presents itself, who face you seeing? You ain't seeing the Chinese, you ain't seeing the East Indian, you ain't seeing the Arabs, you ain't seeing the 1%ers. Who you seeing? You're seeing Black people. You ain't seeing no African, because we don't know African. Because when you watch right now what's taking place, them Africans and them, as I say, they fighting right now. They are at war. We are at war with ourselves right now to move away from the customs and cultures and walking after the, as we say, the teachings. And this is why again that promotion at Christmas, on every radio station right now in Trinidad, them supposed to lock it off and say, nah, it's a lie. We continue to do this lie and continue, we help in promoting crime in Trinidad. Let me start there. Stop promote lies. And let me see the as you say, the escalation of crime. Let me see if it go drop. Stop teaching lies. Because why? Only one thing or one promotion or one order or one, agenda that all oppressor have is to continue to keep us warring or fighting against one another. And from the time we start to move away from his culture and his customs, watch and see Black people on a whole start to transition or try to transform into something. No weed, no drugs in the community. Again, everything is set. And this is why, again, as records make mention and reminder, as newborn babes, we must desire the sincere milk of the word. So brothers coming out of all walk of life, and in the I.S.U.P.K, have brothers come out from all, you could name it. So don't feel you is the first. That brothers already come out or from that condition. I always have again a picture that I stand with that brother who was on the streets. And when you look at that brother today right now, he's a mighty man in the truth. A pillar and an example to show you that the Most High God, this is a miracle. This is a miracle, because now in a condition that we in right now today, and coming out from that condition is a miracle. Whatever you perceive in your mind to be as a miracle is way past that swear and lie to you about. And this is why, again, the truth will always stand. Right? Again, this is the I.S.U.P.K channel Tobago. Again, join Commanding General Yana tonight again on Commanding General Yana channel. Again, or Black Watch. As Commanding General and again going to the all the stories and all that taking place right now in the earth. Again, yeah, go ahead, Ahmad Samakan.
Genesis 49.
Alright.
Genesis 49.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead now. Go ahead.
By the book of Genesis 49 verses 22 and 23. Let's get like a kind of refresher, right?
Right.
The book of Genesis, chapter 49, verses 22. Joseph is a fruitful brook, even a fruitful brook by a well, whose branches run over the wall. The archers have sorely grieved him and shot at him and hated him.
Right. So again, when we go back and you read, when it make mention concerning Joseph, Joseph had two sons, Ephraim and Manasseh. These were, the sons that Jacob, took in his arms, because again, the history there where it shows that Joseph, end up in Egypt under Pharaoh's arms as viceroy or second in command because of jealousy of his brothers and them. And now these two sons now taking up or inheriting that blessing. This is who they are. And just as we read in the article and all too, we show where the Spanish conquistador take as we say where they set up shop in Puerto Rico. And Puerto Rico, let's recall Puerto Rico is the tribe of Ephraim. The tribe of Ephraim. And just as we read, Joseph is a fruitful bow, right? Even a fruitful bow by a well, whose branches run over the wall. And
Joseph was a fruitful grove, right? And then also the next part, whose branches run over the wall.
Right. So again, he being, close, or let me say, have that look alike, because now again, remember now, the oppressor dwell heavy there. So now he will take up the look or have that look because I will say in integration or intermingling. Right? Even a fruitful bow by a well whose branches run over. That name or that look, you will have that name or that look. So now everybody will always look, as we say, let me say, take for example, Captain Katazar. They would always, make mention that, hey, he's a white man. Every time we look at our oppressor, we always look at them, as being fruitful and being wealthy. And not one of us. And this is this look that he take up. This is again who he would look like or have a look alike, right? I know if that answer your question, or you can get some more. I'll just get some more if you want a little more on it. I say if that answer your question, or I can get some more in depth, I could always go back and get some more information on it as well. Right? Right? So I'll just get back and get a little more in depth on it now. Because I know basically on the breakdown, I believe from one of the generals is basically coming along that line. So I'll just go back and I'll get a little refresher concerning that, because now that look alike, as I say, is like, you having that look is you being, as we say, whose branches run over the wall. So now I just say you're fruitful now, right? Or as we say, Puerto Rico or Porter Riches, right? So I'll go back and just get a reminder on that. So I'll take note of that. Right? So, right? So again, right? Again, as I say, as a reminder, you know, the Lord's 55th annual Passover coming up. Again, tune in, you know, to all the information that will be on every social media platform, you know, with the hotels where, you know, will be staying at. Again, contact your camp leader, you know, get the information that is needed, wherever city, wherever state that you're in, all the necessary information. Again, the Lord's 55th annual Passover, April 20th, Durham, North Carolina. Right? And with that, one hand. Right? With that, pass the class, the priest, and Osamaka Kobal.
All right, security announcements. We are the I.S.U.P.K out of 1 West 125th Street, SHALAM, New York, under Commandant General Yahanna. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to share themselves with the world after 6 months. If a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother. The 25th day of the 9th month by the space of 8 days. I believe it's Saturday the 17th, or sorry, Friday. All right. Right? It is, I believe it's next week, Tuesday. I have it on the thing. That's what?
Let's pull it. Right.
So, all right. Remind Arpium and Aquatium to check on social media such as ISUPK.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for I.S.U.P.K events and materials. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, then he is to start wearing all black, which includes back boots, like shirts, like pants, like headbands, or scarf. All right, the feast of dedication, the date is. I believe it's Tuesday next week. We just want to verify. We repeat it in the next class. All right. Let's stand and face the east. And we're going to say the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Haya, Shamka, Yahweh, Malakaka, Taba'a, Ratazaka, Haya, Aisha, Barataza, Kawa, Haya, Mashamayim, Natanalawa, Lakam, Hal, Yawam, Wasalaknawa, Kabawatnawa, Kasalaknawa, Kabawatinawa, Wala'a, Tabanawa, Maisea 1, Abal, Oshainawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Amalakwat, Wahala, Wataparat, Walelonium, Aman.
The English, our Father,
Which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. And is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. All right, sir. So, let's give the teacher one courtesy salute. Amadiam Shabbat, Amadiam Barak, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai Brakatah. All right, yada yada. Class dismissed.